right on the mini stop. See the mini stop logo. Bingo! I got it. Hello, good morning from Japan. My name is Kurt, and this is my daily Good Life meditation. It's 5:34 a.m. on the 26th day of February, 2025. I think today is a Wednesday? Maybe. This video is a daily journal that I do to think about the last 24 hours and how I did with the various challenges and opportunities that I met. I also use this time to plan for the coming day. And I go over, briefly review the 8 objectives of my Good Life Creed, something outlined in my book, Going Alone. But before I do any of that, let me welcome my new YouTube subscribers. It's great to have you on the channel. And just to let you know that if you're here for the Japan content, I'm in Japan. This is a Japanese convenience store called Mini Stop. It's very close to my home here in Shizuoka City, Japan. But that's about all that I'm going to give you in terms of Japan content, other than incidental stories that I might tell about the last 24 hours that involve Japan. That's because these videos, these Good Life meditation videos, are about me talking about my life, not about Japan. So you want to look for the other videos on my channel, namely the Retiring in Japan series, if you want Japan related content. I also want to caution you that I do talk about sensitive subjects in these videos, namely death, namely my own death. I'm not dying necessarily yet, but I do talk about things relative to my preparation for death, and that seems to be unsettling to people. So I'll give you a heads up that watch out if you're not comfortable hearing talk about that. All right, so what I'm going to do now is 3 things. I'm going to talk about the last 24 hours and the challenges and the opportunities that I met and how I dealt with those, how I either was able to meet the challenge and improve upon it, leverage it some way into better living. Where better living is defined as actions to help improve reduce suffering in the world and improve well-being. That's what I'm always trying to do. I'm trying to leverage my life and my days and each hour in a way that I'm being beneficial to the world around me. In that capacity, where beneficial means improving the well-being, particularly of thinking creatures, those that can suffer. So let's take a look. I have 2 items that I always keep a notebook every day. A page for every day. I put a date, then I give the day a name. I call it today Big Yard Day. I'll talk about that in a moment. And then I have over here a reminder that I added. If you saw yesterday's video, I added this, that my mission going forward is the promotion of my book, Going Alone, and in particularly the Good Life Creed, which this video is key and instrumental in doing. So this video, making this daily video, is not only instrumental for my well-being, it's also part and parcel of my mission in life now that I am retired. I'm 10 weeks into retirement now. Okay, so for the last 24 hours, I have a note here. Last 24 hours, I have 2 bullet items. One is arthritis, and the other is limits. I couldn't read my own writing. I want to tell you about something that has happened that is absolutely blown my mind. For the last 3 years, so my basic well-being began to decline about age 57, and a lot of things started to happen. I've noticed my body is changing, my muscle mass is shifting, reducing. My stamina has decreased. My mental acuity has begun to decrease as well. I can cognizantly feel my mental horsepower going down, if that's the thing. I feel it. I experience it every day now. That's something I've never really talked about, but it's been one of the hardest things to deal with is feeling my brain decline. Not hard like... No, it's not hard. I don't mind I don't mind my brain declining. It's just sobering, I guess, is the thing. But the one thing that did trouble me a lot, was my arthritis. I went to see my doctor, the wonderful Dr. Doe in Huntington Beach, who is no longer my doctor since I've moved to Japan. I have another doctor. In fact, his office is 1 block up from here. I haven't seen him since I come back yet, though. Anyway, Dr. Doe told me I have arthritis, and which is, if you know what it is, it's basically the stuff. My joints ain't working though I used to, but it hurts, namely on my shoulders and my elbows and my knees. When I moved to Japan, by the time I moved to Japan 10 weeks ago, it was very painful. Even in spite of the fact that I walked over 1,000 miles through the desert while I was in the 6 months between my family leaving for Japan and my joining them. So I was getting lots of exercise, but still very painful. I mean, when I got to Japan, it was so painful that going up and down stairs was really hard. Just doing basic things was really hard. I mean, not impossible, but knowingly painful. And I didn't take pain medicine, and I just bore it. I just accepted it like I accept my cognitive decline, my muscle mass decline, my stamina decline. I just accept those things. And what I do in response is I'm not doing anything necessarily active other than eating well and getting lots of exercise. But here's the thing. My arthritis pain has gone away. I noticed it yesterday while I was wrestling with the vines in a big tree in my new backyard. Just bought a house recently here in Japan, and my wife and I are I'm taming the wilderness outside, and she's leading the DIY charge indoors. And I was out there, I was literally, and I got it on videotape. It's on yesterday's Retiring in Japan upload. And literally there's a clip in there where I'm pulling the vines down, this clean climbing vine down from a tree. And I'm realizing, and it's not captured on that the moment of revelation isn't captured, but I'm like, wait a minute, where's the pain? Where's the pain? Now I can feel it very, very faintly when I move my arm right now. Very, very faintly right there. But it's mostly gone. Now, I don't know, and I didn't talk with ChatGPT yet about it. Maybe this is the type of thing that can come and go, but I don't imagine. I mean, arthritis is a degenerative thing, right? I mean, maybe, I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's the simple fact that I'm getting it's incredible since I've retired. I mean, one thing I don't have anymore in my life since I retired is I was an IT project manager for my career. I would have long stretches during the day of sitting in front of a computer, and I don't do that anymore. In fact, I rarely ever sit. What I'm sitting right now in this chair here at Mini Stop, this is the longest, and I'll sit here for half an hour. This is the longest I'll sit all day. I won't even sit this long for lunch and dinner. I mean, I am on my feet all day. And now that I'm in the garden, I'm using tools, I'm raking, I'm shoveling, I'm doing all of these things that are involving my whole body. This is just me thinking out loud. Maybe those activities are contributing to my reduction of my arthritis issues. Whatever it is, I love it. I love it. Okay, so there's that. Now, this other one, limits. I wanted to point out that what was happening yesterday, I did a lot yesterday. In the morning, I completed work on the Senmenjo, the laundry room / changing room in our house, which we're getting remodeled. I was helping my wife out with that, with cabinetry removal and a few other things, wallpaper stuff. The wallpaper work was hard work, and I learned some tricks about how to do that. I was having fun. Oh my gosh, I never knew that DIY work was so much fun. At one point yesterday, I had to stop, turn the camera on, and just exclaim into the camera, "This is super fun!" And I was just taking off wallpaper. I think part of it is that I'm laboring for my own interest, right, and not at the beck and call of an employer anymore. And it's fun to improve upon the capital of one's own life. That's a good way to put it. So I did that, and then after that I went out to the yard, and I have 3 times now since I've started the DIY life. I've kind of pushed myself to the limit, caught myself, and then went a little too far. Or I didn't catch myself initially. I went a little too far. The first time I think I got into heart attack territory. This was the first week that we had the house. I was out in the yard trying to clear the yard. My dad died of a heart attack. He was 5 years younger than me, from overexertion. And heart attacks run in my family. And I was out there just killing it in the yard. And I suddenly realized, oh my gosh, Kurt, I'm kind of dizzy. I'm kind of, oh shit, excuse my language. But that's literally what I thought at the moment. I was like, oh my gosh, I just got a pop-up on my screen. One of my old meetings, I used to be a project manager. I still have my calendar on my phone. One of my meetings is starting for one of my projects that I led, like in 15 minutes. So it's 5:45 a.m. right now, so it's almost 6 a.m. What is that? Almost like 2 it's like 1 p.m. in the States on Tuesday, and the team is about to have a meeting without me because they don't need me anymore because I'm not there anymore. Anyway, I didn't catch that one. That was like the first week, and I realized, oh crap, I'm in heart attack territory, Kurt. Knock it off. Then two other times after that it happened. But what's happening now is I'm getting physically fit to the point that I can reach those limits now. And I'm like, oh, wow, this is the point where in the first week I would have been dizzy and practically fallen over and risk of falling over. I'm not like that now. What I do now is I say, okay, hey, I kind of reached a point, Kurt. Why don't you take a break for a second, grab an orange, a Mekong tangerine. There's a vendor. I'll walk up the street to the farmer's yard, at the end of the street, because my neighbors, some of my neighbors are farmers, and they've got farm produce out, and I'll go out and buy a bag of oranges for 100 yen, come back and sit and eat a couple of oranges. I'm ready to go. But more and more, I'm getting fit to the point that I can keep going. And that is a great feeling. So what I'm saying here, I noted limits, and I've set kind of a mental reminder that to idling there, watching for my body state, to call out when I need to take a break. But less and less do I actually need a break. I can simply seem to go on, and this is because over time I'm getting stronger and more physically fit. And my damn arthritis is going away. I don't know if that's possible or if it's just in remission, if it's going to come back. Whatever. I don't care. If it comes back, it comes back. I enjoy it that it's not here now. Those are the 2 things from yesterday. Now, all of this is based on my creed, where a creed is a funny word that simply, I didn't really know what it meant. I mean, I knew what it meant, but I'd heard it when I was looking for a name, because I had come up with, after I gave up religion and was on my own basically to figure out my own way in life, I set out to find guideposts that I could use, rules, guidance that I could use, and I formulated a set of principles, 35 principles and 8 objectives that I use to live by. And I call this the Good Life Creed. Now, I call it the Good Life as a nod to the Stoic tradition, which of seeking after virtue, a virtuous living. So this creed then became part and parcel of my book, Going Alone, because in Going Alone I talk about facing down, basically Going Alone is about facing down life without God. So in giving up my religion, that's another thing I talk about in these videos that makes people uncomfortable, is my atheism. In giving up my religion and going my own way, going on my own in life, I was faced with the challenge of figuring out rules and guidelines and values to live by that were meaningful, to make a worthwhile life out of this, however many years I have left. So the good life objectives and principles are the result, and I borrowed a lot from the Stoic tradition. The good life is what the Stoics would say is the thing to pursue in life is the good life, that Stoics would say. So I titled mine The Good Life, again, tipping my hat to the Stoics. There are 8 objectives, the things I'm striving for, and 35 principles, the tools, the epistemology that I use to achieve those ends. And I've been doing it now. I completed the Good Life Creed when I finished my book Going Alone in December 2018. So I've been doing it now for 7, 8 years, something like that. And I've been doing this meditation every day ever since as well. It's had a profound effect on my life in terms of putting me in the driver's seat and giving me results and allowing me to complete my decided life mission. To the point that I'm ready to die. That's the very first objective of the Good Life Creed, is to be ready to die, to have my life in a condition where if I do get that heart attack this afternoon in the garden, I've left things in good order, right? And so I'm going to real quick go over the 8 objectives. That's part of what I do every day. I talk about the last 24 hours, I go over the 8 objectives, and then I prepare for the coming day by going over what my plans are for the day. So my 8 objectives are as follows. First and foremost is to be always ready to die. What does that mean? What does it mean to be always ready to die? 3 things. I want my affairs to be in order. My paperwork is sound. My bank accounts are set up correctly. My last will and testament, all that kind of stuff is in order. For me, at this point in my life, that mainly means that my wife is going to be well cared for after I'm gone. That I've set up our finances, because we're both retired, that she will have a lifetime income to sustain her for the rest of her life. All of that is all set up right now. If I keel over today, Yumiko's set for life. She gets 100% of everything for the rest of her life. Number 2 is to make sure that my relationships, the second part of being prepared to die, is to make sure that my relationships are sound and in order. That I don't have, you know what I mean? Sometimes we have harsh words with people, or we are in a condition with people where if we died right now and we suddenly found ourselves at the pearly gates, we're like, darn it, I wish I could have, we always say that, right? I wish I could have talked to that person one last time and given them a hug, right? I don't want any of that, right? I want to make sure that everybody that I needed to hug, that I want to hug, has been hugged. And so I ask myself every morning when I do this, are my relationships, are my affairs in order? They definitely are. Are my relationships sound? They are. I mean, the only one that's a tricky one is my mom, but that's not for my doing. I reach out to my mom. My mom just doesn't want to have it much to do with me. She's suspicious for a lot of reasons, but probably first and foremost the fact that I'm not a Christian anymore, and that's an issue for a lot of people. My giving up Christianity really impacted a lot of people in my life, most notably my mom, and so not much I can do about that. Number 3, third thing to be ready for death is to make sure that my life's work is, if not complete, my papers are in order, right? If you're a writer, make sure that your papers are on your desk, not a scattered mess, because I don't want my daughter to have to go to my desk and like, what the hell was Dad doing? And have things ordered. Now, I'm lucky in that at age 60, I've written my book. What I mean by that is, when I was set out as a young man, I wanted to live a life story that was worth writing about and leaving a document in my wake to leave my daughter. I was motivated by that after my own father died, and I found a journal that he wrote that he did not complete, but he wrote, and that is a treasure to me because it's some of my dad's ideas and perspectives on life. So I set out to do the same thing in my life, and that is complete in the form of my book, Going Alone. And I've written other books as well, but those are supplemental or ancillary to the main tale. And Emily, my daughter, knows, she's grown, she's 24 years old, she knows that book is my legacy to her and to anybody else that wants to read it. So my life's work is complete. That book is written, edited, not a single word may change, except for the fact that someone yesterday, one of you, I think it was at Renaissance, who commented about the principle number 35, to be prepared, may not be a principle. It's more of a state and a consequence, which is a really interesting observation. And if you see this, Renaissance, don't think I haven't forgotten your point. You may have offered me something that may cause me to go in and actually edit the book to update that in some way, maybe even outright remove or change that principle. And I really, really appreciate that, because that's one of the reasons I do this exercise, is that my third objective is to have, which I haven't gotten to yet, is to have good and sound life principles. And if there's problems or mislabeling of things, I want to know about it. Thank you for that. So I haven't even gotten through the objective number one, which is to be always ready to die. And I am. And that's the other thing. I have to ask myself, am I ready to die? Yeah, I am. I don't think I have an immortal soul, so there's nothing to satisfy there. It's just oblivion for the rest of the universe from here on in. So my affairs are in order, my relationships are sound, my life's work is complete. I can die at a moment's notice, and that's good. Number two, I've only gotten to number two, is to make good and effective use of time, to not waste my damn days. Damn, that's one that really, really is important to me, is to wake up. That's why one of the reasons I wake up so damn early at 4 a.m. every morning, because I'm eager to dive into the day, and I give the day a name, and I just cherish this day. And if I can really make good utilization of this day, then I'm better prepared to die tomorrow, because I haven't left any chips on the table, so to speak. Not that it really matters. Number three, I already talked about that one, to develop and maintain good and sound life principles. 4, to cultivate good emotional reactions. This is really important to me, because I am a man who, when I was younger, when challenges hit me, the emotions would rise and they would emerge. I wasn't a violent man, but it would emerge, and my face would change, and I would get irritable temperament, stuff like that. And every decade that I've grown older, that has reduced. So now that what's going on inside doesn't really change my expression so much. I can see it coming, and I can manage it. And I can, yesterday, I had a kind of it was the day before yesterday, I had kind of a moment in the evening when I was really tired. And what I typically, when I talk to my wife, and she can see this, that I'm getting like this, I describe to her that I call it low tide. I said, I'll say, she's like, how you doing? I'll say, well, it's kind of a low tide afternoon, which means that I'm wrestling with the frustration or the fatigue or whatever it may be of the day, but I'm not letting it rise. I'm not soiling the experience of life or for the people around me, because I know that, like the tide comes back up. Just have to wait it out. So that's number 3. Number 4. Number 5 is to cultivate, to perform good actions relative to my creed, where good actions are basically defined as actions in the pursuit of virtue, where virtue is defined as actions and decisions that help to result and contribute in the improvement of the well-being of thinking creatures, less pain and suffering around us. Complicated, I think, but it's a domino effect, right? Where the choices that I make lead to more peace and less pain for myself and others. Number 6 is to recognize my true limits and true opportunity. This is a key objective in my life. To know, this is probably the most stoic objective of my life, is to recognize how far my reach can extend, to know what is beyond my reach, so that I'm not suffering myself to expect my influence, undue influence or undue effect on things. Like yesterday, and I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, I'm going to fold in some really good news. Yesterday we got the news. Remember, okay, so we bought I'm going to make a little map here. Okay, so this is our house, and this is our land around the house. And here's a river right here, the Yoshida River. There's this huge piece of property between our house and the river. There's a big bamboo forest at one end, and then huge open land with a couple of chestnut trees scattered all there. Yumiko and I, when we bought that house, we had the idea that we would try to find a way to buy this land next door. And we got the great news yesterday that... So, back to the true limits and true opportunity. I have to recognize that this is not something that I can completely control. I can't just throw money at it. I can't. The other people have to make decisions about this stuff, right? And that land may not be available to us. We may not be able to get it. So I had to set myself up before we asked our realtor to facilitate this for us. Our amazing realtor in Japan, and he did everything. Man, he is fantastic. I mean, he goes and visits people. He looks up documents. He does research. He did all of that for us on this one, and he pulled it off. But I had set myself up before that to see, okay, Kurt, the limit is that I can only decide to buy the land or secure the land. And others may say, no, that's not in my control. So I have resources, I have the ability to decide. So setting that up, I was ready. When Yumiko told me yesterday, she said, I heard from the realtor today, we've got news. I was ready to go either way, and I wasn't going to be disappointed if it came out the other, if it was a no-go. So that's what I mean by recognizing true limits and true opportunities, so I can abide and live in accordance with that. Number 7, I think, is to do just one thing at a time and do that thing slowly, deliberately, and carefully. And number 8 is to keep my balance at all times, both physical and mental. That's it for those. Now let's talk about, I check these off as I go down the list. And then I go the next thing. So for the next 24 hours, by the way, a real loud band of ruffians just came in. They're like a tough looking group. Loud too. One of them just went into the bathroom right there. Man, it's like a bull in a china shop, bull in a ramen shop, as one of my friends on LinkedIn likes to describe himself. So what am I going to do today? Well, it's 6:01. Yumiko wants to get out of the apartment. She's at the apartment right now with the dogs, just waking up. We're going to get back to the house. She needs to leave by 6:30, so I got to finish up here and get down and join her. I tore out all the cabinetry in the Senminjo, and it's sitting out in the yard, and I want to get that to the dump. So I'm going to make 2, maybe three trips to the dump today to drop that off. Then I've got the backyard all set up, and I'm ready to begin solutioning a fencing solution. So I've got a sample of fence, and I've got some cinder blocks, and I'm going to work on some ideas on that. And then I'm going to survey the new domain. I already gave you the news that we've got the land next to our house, which is just, guys, this is the best news possibly ever. This means that our dream was to have a home with land in Japan, but we didn't think we would be able to pull that off in the city here, especially not in Yada, which is this is the primary area to live in Shizuoka City. This is where all the doctors and lawyers want to build their houses. There's no land here. And we were able to buy a house just 6-minute walk along the river to Dad's house and Yoko's house, my sister-in-law and my father-in-law, in the community where we raised our daughter. And we've secured a piece of land next to our house, which is you could put 2 houses on. More coming about that later. Check out my Retiring in Japan series. I'll be showing you more in videos related to that there. So check that out. So I've just been joined by one of the tough guys sitting right next to me. So I'm gonna wrap this up in just a second here. And that was interesting. The tough guy came out of the bathroom and sat down right next to me, right there. And now they're all leaving. I wonder if you can see them over my shoulder. I don't want to lift it up. They might see. He gave me a look coming out of the thing. I think he's a little bit drunk. Are they still out there? Yeah, they're still out there. Oh my gosh. That's a tough looking band of young thugs. They must have been out all night doing stuff, because they came in, they barged into the mini snow. They're tough looking guys, and they got their women with them too, and they're tough looking too. And then they came in, and he literally sat down right next to him, kind of gave me a side look, sat down right next to me. I was like, jeez. So that's what I'm going to do. At least 2 runs to the dump, work on my fencing solution for the outside, and I'm going to go survey the new land and kind of decide. We're going to pick out, we're thinking about chopping down one of the chestnut trees because it's in a good spot. I asked Yumiko, let's not chop down anything too quick. Let's give it a year. Maybe go through the whole summer season, because we might want those chestnut trees and the shade that they offer in the summer, right? Before we start doing it. And Yoko, our sister-in-law Yoko, we told her, come on up. We got to, parcel out. We're going to start parceling out the land, and and Yoko wants to plant some stuff and grow some stuff. So we're going to make it a little family community garden. It's huge. It's just, I can't believe this, and it's right next to the damn river. I can literally go down and get a dipper out of the water the plants. Okay, let's go through comments before I wrap up here. Okay, Worth Doing Badly. You're a new name I haven't seen before. Welcome. Hi, Kurt. The garden is coming along nicely. Thank you. And I'm sorry that I didn't recognize your name if you've been here before. There's Robert. Believe in yourself. Hi, Kurt. And Dr. Buchanan. Hi. Hello, Dr. Buchanan. Robert says, a spirit with a vision is a dream with a mission. Lyrics from a Rush song, Mission. Ooh, I like Rush. Good morning, April. There's April. Robert says hi to everybody. April says, my mom's arthritis would get so bad I had to shift the car for her when I was a kid. Oh, shift, especially during cold months. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, April. I was wondering if that was the case, April, if maybe it was the cold and that spring is coming, that maybe that's affecting it. But spring hasn't hit yet. It's been so cold here. So it wasn't the cold. But watch out if that runs in your family. I don't know if it's a hereditary thing, but it's nasty. Robert says, Kurt, would the difference in food in Japan contribute to less pain? I know that typically the food there is higher in omega-3, something I credit with internal lubrication of joints. That may be the case, but I ate a total Japanese diet when I lived in America. Emiko does all the cooking, and she cooks Japanese. Dr. Buchanan says, so decreased stress may decrease arthritis symptoms. Is that right? Well, definitely my stress is decreased. Thank you, Dr. Buchanan. I appreciate that, letting me know. Maybe that's what it was. And Dr. Buchanan says hi to Robert, aka Believe. April says, yeah, my mom's arthritis was mostly on and off. She'd be fine, and then it would just lock up her hands out of nowhere. Hopefully yours really has gone away. I hope so. But you know what? I recognize my true limits and my true opportunities. I try to, and if it comes back, it comes back. Robert says, Dr. Buchanan, the feeling here is that working for yourself, the sense of purpose helps a lot. I think you're right, Robert. Dr. Buchanan says, Buddha also spoke to pursuing one's best life. The only real failure in life is not to be true to the best life one knows. Let me read that again. The only real failure in life is not to be true to the best life one knows. Ooh, I like that. I'm going to try to remember that, Dr. Buchanan, but like I said, memory not so good these days. Dr. Buchanan says, believe, yep. Responding to Robert, yep, I have seen much the same over the years. Kyle Blaha, I haven't seen your name before. Welcome. Morning, Kurt. I hope you have a great day. Not sure if you've spoken about it in the past, but do you mind speaking about how AI was used for your latest book? It is fully completed. Yes, real quick on this, because I do have to get back to the house. Yumiko wants me to be ready to go out the door by 6:30. So I've written, I think, 6 books now. The first 3 books were written by me. This is before AI arrived, and then after that, I began to integrate AI into the writing process. I'm glad that I undertook my writing career before AI, because it forced me to do it myself and to do it 3 times. Wait, is it 3 times? No More Looking Out for November 1, Going Alone, Freeway Bible Study, and The Good Life. So that's 4 books. I've written 4 books myself. Then I've written 3 books with AI. So the AI process evolved. The first book was more of a, I'm trying to think of how I can do this, how I can describe this in a succinct manner. The first book was trying to figure out how to write with AI. The second book was I took more control of the reins and collaborated. So that I would say the first book, which is Stoic Voyager, that was mostly written by AI with me kind of sitting on the sidelines going, what the hell's going on? The second one, Finding Your Own Path, the undergraduate's guide, that book was written with me in more of an editorial role. And the third book that I wrote with AI, Retiring in Japan, was definitely my book. I wrote that, and I said, stand aside, AI. I'm writing this book. You're helping. You're going to edit. You are going to make it better. So I think the third book, Retiring in Japan, is the best. It's probably my best book that I've written yet. Of all, well, Going Alone is my book. It's my story. But Retiring in Japan is the book that I wrote and AI finished. AI made it pretty. Get what I mean? That question deserves an hour to discuss, because writing with AI was a journey in its own right and a learning process. It's not easy to do if you want to do it well, and I think I managed to do it well especially with Retiring in Japan. Okay, let's see. I hope I answered your question sufficiently. Kyle Blaha. Mark says hi. Hi, Mark. Mark says, have a nice day, Kurt. You too, Mark. Robert says hi to everybody again. April says, I like the system of rating the day and how it went and how to do better the next day. Perhaps attention to the little things. Thanks for reminding me, April. I'm going to give yesterday a 5-star day. I forgot to rate it. I'm reminding 5-star because I was able to facilitate a lot of good utilization of time. I was able to recognize my limits, and I was able to contain my emotions and control my outlay of things when I wasn't feeling good. You know, not basically bringing everybody down. In the creed, I call it the Feast of Offal, when you pour out the yuckiness inside you for others to consume, and I didn't engage in that. Let's see. Robert says, I'm reminded of the song Our House by Madness. Good song. Dr. Buchanan, in the middle of our street. There you go. Boy, this brings me back. Yeah. I still love that song. Congrats on the land acquisition. Thank you, Dr. Buchanan. Congratulations on that land. Thank you, Robert. Run, the side eye. Congratulations on the land. Oh, hi, Angela Hicks. Is that Angela from Huntington Beach? Wow, that's neat. How did you get that font? Anyway, that's really neat. If this is Angela my friend from Huntington Beach, hi, Angela. If it's not Angela from Huntington Beach, hi, Angela. It doesn't matter if you're from Huntington Beach. I'm just wondering if you might be that same person. It's welcome. The first time to see your name here. Welcome to the live. Robert says hi, of course, because Robert's that kind of guy. And Angela says hi back. Kyle Blau, really appreciate the explanation and content regarding the book. Super helpful. I've been thinking about writing a book, Kyle Blaha, about how to write a book with AI, because that was a learning experience. April says, I'd be interested in sitting here for an hour to learn about writing with AI help. LOL. I'll give you one clue, April. The one, and then I'm going to sign off, everybody. So the thing is that the tricky thing with AI is the context window. If you're using an AI like Claude has an enormous context window. What that means is how much it can hold in one memory. If you sit and you ask AI to write, like something like ChatGPT 4.0, to write a book for you, a 150-page or 200-page book, it's not going to be able to do it in one fell swoop. It just doesn't have enough, can't hold that much in its brain, so to speak. Claude can almost do that. But Claude doesn't have the tools that are really helpful for writing. ChatGPT 4.0, with its ability to have custom GPTs and now projects, but really custom GPTs are the trick, are the route to go. And then keeping in mind the context window, that you can get about a 10-page chapter or book section in the context window that ChatGPT can hold. That means you can work with a one section. If you know that you can work with about a 10 pages of text in one shot, then what that does is you outline the entire book, then you break up and you work spin up a custom GPT, and that requires a whole other thing. Creating custom GPTs is the powerhouse of using ChatGPT, and it's only available, I believe it's only available if you have the paid plan. I don't think you can create a custom GPT without it. Hopefully I'm wrong, and you can. Once you create a custom GPT for the book that you want to write, and you train the custom GPT, it's like hiring an intern from college. You know, at first they're bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. They don't know what the hell they're going to do, but they're good. They're trained, right? They have skills. And then you train them for what they're going to do. You have to spend some time. That's what you do with a custom GPT. You train it. You say, we're going to write a book together about retiring in Japan. Here's the background information. I want you to learn all this stuff. And then you train the GPT, and then you train it with the tone, the writing tone, and how it's going to write and what kind of language it's going to give it some examples. I want you to write like a cross between Ernest Hemingway and Whoopi Goldberg. I don't know, is Whoopi Goldberg right? And you get whatever that is, right? Or in my case, I give the custom GPT a copy of my writing, of like one of my books, a small book like No More Looking Out for Number One, and say, I want you to write like that, and then it'll write like me. Then you deal with the book, then you write out the outline, prepare the outline with the custom GPT. Then you begin laying out you work on chapter by chapter in an iterative approach. Go through over and over and over, refining over and over, using that same custom GPT throughout, and you'll come up with an excellent book. Okay, let's see perfect. LOL, that's so crazy. Technology is crazy. It's like raising a baby to write a book. That's a really good way to say it, April. And I keep those GPTs around. The 3 GPTs that I created for the 3 AI books that I wrote, I keep them around in case I want to go back and edit. I don't have to start from scratch, right? With that, I gotta go. I wish you all the best, everybody. Be safe, but not too safe, and I hope you have a wonderful day. I've been using Roberts's AI to help make my writing less flowery and Charles Dickens-like. Hey, but that sounds like a good thing. I like Charles Dickens. Thanks for the tips, Kurt. Have a great day. You too, April. But tomorrow's the day, right? Are you leaving tomorrow? You going? I know what's happening this week, April. I'll just make a little note here while I wait to hear your response. Packing and repacking today. Wow, well, I'm rooting for you. Keep us posted. I know probably when you're en route we won't be connected, so probably a gap and you won't see you for a while. But 4 a.m. tomorrow, yeah, I know it's coming. I'm rooting for you, April. I can't wait to see your posts on the other side. Take care, everybody. Have a great day. Remember, be safe, but not too safe, if you want. Take care. Oh, and watch out for the tough guys at Mini Stop. They're real.